Hello guys, welcome back to our anime moment. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Battle Through the Heavens Part 259 based on novel. So let's start. The black cloud covered the sky, which seemed to have turned dim in an instant. Monstrous-like aura spread in the black cloud and reverberated across this place. It caused the land to shake slightly. There were presently still many people and faction remaining in the Black Corner region. Although Xiao Yang and the others had already warned them, these people did not choose to leave. Most of those who could survive in the Black Corner region were heartless and bold individuals. Hence it was naturally not easy to get them to abandon the territory that they had fought for many years with just a few words. Xiao Yang and the others simply left things as it was after their warning was unheeded. They would naturally regret it when the time come. The Xiao Gate had also been sent into the heavenly tomb early on. Regardless of what the situation was, this was after all a faction he had established back then. He would naturally not hold back if he could help them. Hence, the current Black Corner region was much emptier as compared to before. Although some stubborn fellows refused to leave, there were also some decisive individuals. After all, the massacre that had happened a couple of days earlier had allowed them to understand just how terrifying the so-called Hun clan. The black cloud spread and covered the area around the Black Corner region. Immediately, the black cloud churned and whistled out from his body in a dense fashion. Xiao Yang's expression was grave as he looked at the figures that covered the sky. From the looks of it, the Hun clan had come out in full force. It seemed that Hunchindi had full intent on obtaining the ancient god mansion. Be careful. Zana softly spoke by the side. Her pretty eyes were filled with worry. Even she felt that this lineup was extremely terrifying. Xiao Yang nodded slightly. His eyes looked at the middle of the black cloud. There were dozens of figures appearing in the space. The leader was the clan head of the Hun clan, Hunchindi. The Nihility devouring flame followed closely behind. Behind them were the four old undying fellow who had built the death world back then. The aura of these four old fellows who would not die had actually recovered. Xiao Yang's eyes glanced at the four individuals and his heart sunk involuntarily. For experts comparable to an 8-star doshen, this was sufficient to cause an imbalance between both parties. During the time when Xiao Yang had a solemn face because of the Hun clan's lineup, the space above the academy also swiftly became distorted. Immediately, densely packed human figures flashed and appeared. The Alliance army had also arrived. Xiao Yang's body flashed as he saw the black mass of people suddenly appearing in the sky. He immediately appeared in front of the Alliance army. It seems that your guess is correct. This Black Corner region is indeed the location of the Chushi ancient god mansion. Yuan gazed at the large Hun clan's army in the distance and said. Xiao Yang nodded. His eyes swept over the Alliance army. Suddenly, he discovered that the lineup of the Alliance army seemed to have become a lot stronger compared to the last time. The strength within all our three clans had been fully unleashed. Yuan appeared to be aware of Xiao Yang, surprised, and laughed. Don't the three clans need to dispatch people to guard your clans? Xiao Yang frowned and asked. The Hun clan does not have the courage to separate and attack our three clans at this moment, Lei Ling by the side spoke in a deep voice. This fight is extremely important. Whoever loses will likely end up with a terrible fate where one can never recover from. Since this is the case, we can only risk it all. Yang Jin laughed. However, a sharp cold light surged within his eyes. Xiao Yang was speechless. He quietly nodded. Indeed, if Hunchindi was allowed to successfully advance to the Do Di class, only one fate that awaits the three clan regardless of how they defend. Since this was the case, it was better to risk everything and fight now. That's right, I have already ventured into the bottom of the Magma and discovered the ancient god mansion inside. However, there is a mysterious creature guarding at the entrance to the mansion. Its strength is extremely terrifying. I think that it is likely not weaker than Uncle Gu or Hunchindi. Xiao Yang spoke with a serious face. These words caused not only the expressions of Lei Ying and the others to change, but it also led to Yuan's body trembling slightly. This big battle would be a little unpredictable if this was the case. An advanced level 9-star Doshan could alter the result of the battle. I have never heard of any non-human race producing an advanced level 9-star Doshan class expert within the last 1,000 years. It is likely that this mysterious creature has existed for an extremely long period of time. Even Hunchindi and I might not be comparable with it, Yuan muttered. Xiao Yang and the others nodded. One could indeed explain it this way. After all, that fellow must have existed for a very long period of time in order to become the guardian of the ancient god mansion. It was not unbelievable to say that it was older than Yuan and Hunchindi. After all, the life of such a magical beast was its natural advantage. Hunchindi slowly stepped out from the distant space while Xiao Yang's group chatted. His eyes were indifferent as they glanced at the opposing alliance. Finally, they paused onto Yuan and Xiao Yang. Yuan, what I have told you earlier is still valid now. If I really successfully advance into the Do-D class and you surrender to me, I will not show you any mercy. You should reconsider for the sake of the continuity of the Gu clan. Hunchindi spoke in a calm voice. Yuan could not resist laughing after seeing that this person was actually still intending on cooperating with him. He did not speak. All he did was to lift his hand and swung it gently. Immediately, countless number of powerful auras erupted from the Alliance army. Cold and sharp eyes were locked onto the Hun clan's army. How unfortunate. Hunchindi sighed softly upon seeing this. He did not say anything else. A bright light cluster flew out from within his storage ring and floated above his head. A foggy light was vaguely present within the light cluster. Finally, it turned into an illusory ancient figure. The energy of this entire place seemed to have boiled following the appearance of the ancient figure. An overlord-like pressure descended from the sky. Shi ancient god. Yuan, Xiao Yang and the others had grave faces as they watched the bright-haired old man. A solemn exclamation sounded. The only one in this world who could possess such an aura was likely the legendary Shi ancient god Jade. They wished to use the Shi ancient god Jade to summon the ancient god mansion. Yuan's eyes flashed as he cried out. Bang! Hunchindi lifted the Shi ancient god Jade before he suddenly slammed his palm towards the Jianan Academy below. With this strike, a giant 10,000 feet large hand appeared in the sky. Immediately, dust quickly scattered. A loud rumbling sound resounded over this place. The enormous Jianan Academy was directly turned into a tens of thousands of feet large deep gully under this palm strike by Hunchindi. There was suddenly the sound of liquid flowing within the deep gully. Soon after, a crimson liquid flowed out from within the ruins of the Jianan Academy. In the blink of an eye, it had buried the Jianan Academy in magma. This palm strike of Hunchindi had not only turned the Jianan Academy into ruins but it had even forced the magma out from underground. Hot magma swiftly surged out from underground like a bright red wave. After which, it spread over the Black Corner region in a mighty fashion. With this speed, the Black Corner region would likely be turned into a sea of magma soon. Stop them, do not allow Hunchindi to use the ancient jade to summon the ancient god cave. Yuan cried out in a deep voice as he looked at the sea of magma spreading under him. Attack! Lei Ying, Yang Jin, and the rest suddenly cried out after hearing Yuan. Immediately, countless number of Do-Chi pillars shot out from the Alliance army behind them and shot towards the Hun clan's army from all directions. In formation! Many stern cries were also emitted from within the Hun clan's army after they saw the Alliance army unleashing an attack. Immediately, many black chains with black fog lingering over them shot out from the army. Finally, they crossed each other. In the blink of an eye, they turned into a huge dragnet. Bang bang bang. Vast and mighty Do-Chi light pillars continued to explode on the chain formation, emitted waves of sharp miserable cries. The black fog on the chains also paled rapidly. Seeing the terrifying and indescribable fight that had occurred in the sky, some of the experts and factions, who were originally remaining in the Black Corner region, were shocked to the point of having ashen faces. They lowered their heads to look at the Black Corner region, which had been turned into a sea of magma. In an instant, many people began to hurriedly pull back. Compared to this big battle, all the other battles that they had experienced could be considered child's play. Hunchindi acted as though he did not notice the intense battle between both parties. He shut his eyes and controlled the ancient jade to sense the ancient god mansion deep under the magma. Humph! Yuan let out a cold snort upon seeing this scene. His body moved and he directly appeared outside of the chain formation. He waved his hand and the hard chains immediately exploded apart. Yuan, allow me to be the one to fight you instead. A black flame surged in front of Yuan just as he was about to attack. The Nihility devouring flame appeared behind him. There were also two old men, who had built the death world back then, behind him. It seemed that he also understood that even though his soul had advanced into the D state, he was still no match for Yuan in a one-on-one battle. So you have actually advanced into having a D state soul. It looks like the Hun clan has really treated you well. With Yuan's eyesight, he was naturally able to tell that the current Nihility devouring flame had already advanced into having a D state soul. The Nihility devouring flame laughed coldly. He did not utter anything unnecessary to Yuan. Instead, he extended his hands. Monstrous black flames erupted. An endless suction force surged out from within his body, causing him to appear like a black hole. The two elders behind him also attacked when the Nihility devouring flame struck. Their auras were powerful. Clearly, they were fighting with their full strength. You actually wish to stop me with the three of you? Yuan smiled. His body flashed and he appeared in front of an elder with lightning-like speed. A finger was extended. Immediately, the space within 1,000 feet from his collapsed into nothing. After which, the finger was also quickly pressed downwards. The figure had not even made contact with the elder's body when the latter spat out a mouthful of blood and his body staggered backwards in a miserable fashion. Humph! Yuan was about to attack again after injuring one of them with his finger when a black flame began to envelope him. An endless suction force erupted. It was as though it intended to absorb all of the Do Chi within his body. Your devouring power is useless against me. The vast and mighty Do Chi contained a terrifying spiritual assault as it surged out from within Yuan's body. It directly shattered the black flame that was wrapped around him. After which, it grabbed towards the Nihility devouring flame. Two elderly figures appeared in front of Xiao Yang, who had charged into the battleground, while Yuan and the Nihility devouring flame trio were engaging in a big fight. Their stern cold cries sounded simultaneously. Bastard! Return my deathly silence gate! Hunchindi. Xiao Yang merely smiled as he saw the two old men, whose body were covered with a rich deathly aura. One of them was Hunchindi, whose deathly silence gate had been snatched by Xiao Yang back then. Little bastard, you have ruined the plans of my Hun clan. You must definitely die today. Hunchindi's eyes were vicious as they stared at Xiao Yang. Back then, Xiao Yang had taken advantage of his carelessness to snatch the deathly silence gate, causing the death world to completely collapse. This had resulted in the Hun clan's army to have no choice but to retreat. If it was not because of the current critical state of affairs, it was likely that he would be seriously punished for making such a big mistake even though he was considered a veteran. Even though this was the case, he was still frequently reprimanded by Hunchindi during this period of time. Naturally, his hatred towards Xiao Yang was currently quite intense. Xiao Yang simply curled his mouth in the face of Hunchindi's vicious words. Immediately, he glanced at the two people in front of him. A grave expression flashed across his eyes. The Hun clan had directly dispatched 2 8-star doshums to hold him back. From this, it was obvious that the Hun clan intended to kill him. Although it might be extremely troublesome for Xiao Yang to deal with this, it was also not a simple matter for the opponent to defeat him. After all, he was presently a genuine 7-star doshum. Adding his D-state soul, his true fighting strength had far surpassed an ordinary 8-star doshum. Although these two were cooperating, they might not be able to beat him. This thought appeared within Xiao Yang's heart. His eyes swiftly swept over the many intense battles throughout the entire Black Corner region. Wild and violent Do Chi spread as many figures fought each other, causing the sea of magma below to continuously emit many thousand feet large magma pillars. The battle is in a stalemate. However, my being able to hold back 2 of the other party's 8-star Dosheng will greatly reduce the pressure on the Alliance army. The battle was at a stalemate while the sky was like a huge meat grinder. A continuous stream of experts from both parties spat out blood and fell into the magma below. The great heat below turned them into ashes. Little bastard, go and die! Hunchind's eyes became increasingly vicious as he looked at Xiao Yang. At the end, he finally could not resist the fury within his heart. With a stern cry, he swung his hand forward. That palm wind, which was covered with a deathly aura, was swung towards Xiao Yang. One sniff of that scent caused one to feel the life force within one's body to gradually disappear. You have really thought too highly of yourself. Xiao Yan laughed coldly after seeing Hunchindi attack. The purifying demonic lotus flame swept out from within his body like a storm. After which, it turned into a giant fire palm that forcefully received the attack by Hunchindi. That strange deathly aura of the other party had also been swiftly purified by the purifying strength of the purifying devouring lotus flame. Hunchindi, let's attack together and kill this brat. Hunchindi's expression changed as the attack made contact. He could sense that the current Xiao Yang was actually much stronger than back then. After which, he hurriedly cried out. The other dark and icy-faced 8-star Dosheng old man also nodded after hearing his cry. The former flashed and appeared behind Xiao Yang. Deathly aura lingered over his finger before it was pressed forward ruthlessly. Death God finger. Get lost. The huge black finger broke through the space. It was just about to touch Xiao Yang when the latter threw a punch backwards. A terrifying firestorm was formed under his fist as it whistled forward and directly struck onto the huge black finger. King Kong glass body. Xiao Yang suddenly cried out loud after he threw a punch. His body suddenly swelled to 1,000 feet. Bright golden light surged out from within his body. Extermination fire body. The King Kong glass body had just been unleashed when Xiao Yang once again acted with lightning-like speed. Purifying demonic lotus flame wildly shot out from within his body. His huge body also quickly became crystal clear. 2 body-strengthening Do Chi were unleashed simultaneously. This was something that only Xiao Yang could do after having stepped into the D-state soul. Xiao Yang's aura had become violent and sharp after 2 body-strengthening Do Chi were unleashed together. His large hand was swung and a palm slammed towards Hunchindi. At the same time, he also flicked his finger. Yellow spring palm. Great heaven creation palm. Yellow spring finger. 3 different Do skills were formed under Xiao Yang's palm at almost the same time. After which, they violently smashed angrily towards Hunchindi. Even Hunchindi involuntarily had a change in expression after seeing these attacks from Xiao Yang. This ability to use multiple Do Chi together was something that even he did not have. Death Tomb. Dense deathly aura wildly surged out from within Hunchindi's body. Finally, it turned into a 10,000 feet large black tomb in front of him. There was a sharp sound resounding from the tomb. Bang bang bang. Many Qian-class Do skills descended from the sky and violently crashed onto the huge black tomb. Huge energy waves spread, causing the space within 10,000 feet to collapse into a dark black void. Faced with this wild and violent explosion, the deathly aura on the black tomb also rapidly disappeared. Finally, a bang sounded and it exploded apart. Xiao Yang was just about to continue giving chase after glancing at the collapsed tomb when his ear moved. He suddenly turned. His huge fist reflexively smashed ruthlessly onto the space behind him. Bang! The space rippled and a giant black stone pillar broke out from it. It collided heavily with Xiao Yang's fist. Immediately, a loud and clear sound appeared. Xiao Yang and the stone pillar were sent flying backwards. Xiao Yang's body took over a dozen steps back before he stabilized himself. A sweetness rose from his throat. However, this was quickly swallowed by him. The strength of Hunchindi was even stronger than Hunchindi. He had also used his full strength when he attacked. However, this kind of collision might have caused Xiao Yang to feel a little terrible, but he did not appear to be in a good condition either. Xiao Yang lifted his eyes. He looked at Hunchindi, who had appeared with a stone pillar in his hand. The latter's face was flush red. Even his aura had started to fluctuate intensely. Damn brat. No wonder you are able to snatch the deathly silence gate from Hunchind's hands. Hunchindi stared densely at Xiao Yang and spoke in a low and deep voice. It is becoming increasingly difficult to deal with this brat. Let's attack together and exhaust him to death. Hunchindi flashed and appeared beside Hunchindi before speaking in a dense voice. Xiao Yan laughed coldly after hearing these words. He waved his hand and a black light cluster suddenly appeared in it. Finally, it was transformed into a huge giant black gate. It was surprisingly the deathly silence gate. Go it. Xiao Yang waved his sleeve after summoning the deathly silence gate. An intense suction force immediately surged out from within the gate and dragged Hunchindi duo into it. Brat, you actually dare to deliver yourself to us? Hunchindi duo's eyes brightened after seeing Xiao Yang taking out the deathly silence gate. They did not even put up a resistance as they used the suction force to charge into the deathly silence gate. A cold smile flashed across Xiao Yang's eyes after seeing the actions of those two. He would naturally not repeat the same foolish mistake that Hunchindi had once made. Hunchindi duo appeared within the deathly silence gate. However, they were hurrying to look for the spiritual stone to remove Xiao Yang's spiritual imprint when they suddenly discovered that this deathly silence gate was actually filled with a monstrous flame. Something's wrong, let's escape. The expressions of Hunchindi duo changed upon seeing the pink flame that spread over the place. This deathly silence gate had already been meddled with by Xiao Yang. Bang bang. However, the both of them had just pulled back when the purifying demonic lotus flame around them surged over from all directions. The flame turned into many fire dragons that bite wildly at the duo. Boom! Hunchindi duo waved their sleeves. Mighty Dochi pillars scattered the fire dragons that pounced onto them. Their bodies flashed and they appeared at the entrance to the deathly silence world. A 10,000 feet figure suddenly firmly blocked the exit when the two of them appeared in front of the entrance to Deathly Silence World. Soon after, a terrifying spiritual sonic wave suddenly struck at them. 3 continuous yellow spring divine anger were unleashed. That terrifying spiritual sonic wave attack directly sent Hunchindi duo flying backwards by 10,000 feet. This wild attack caused their souls to become a little giddy. Since you have entered, you can forget about leaving. Xiao Yang's icy cold laughter rumbled throughout the deathly silence gate. The seal formed by his hands changed and many 6-colored flames, which were filled with an extermination force, swiftly appeared in his palm. Finally, they continuously flew into the deathly silence gate. The fire lotus came one after another. They floated in the air of the deathly silence gate but did not attack Hunchindi duo. Instead, they were being gathered one after another. Within that short moment of time, there was already 10 extermination fire lotus. This number caused the expressions of Hunchindi duo to change. They were not afraid of one extermination fire lotus. However, if 10 of them were added together and exploded within this confined space, even the 2 of them would not be able to endure it. Charge out of here. The both of them exchanged glances and clenched their teeth. Immediately, they turned into 2 rays of light that shot towards the exit with lightning-like speed. They decided to endure Xiao Yang's yellow spring divine anger and charge out from the deathly silence gate. It's too late. Xiao Yang merely smiled coldly as he watched the action of those 2. He threw another 3 extermination fire lotus inside. After which, a thought passed through his mind and all the extermination fire lotus within the deathly silence gate wildly exploded at this moment. Moreover, Xiao Yang suddenly slammed his palm onto the deathly silence gate when the extermination fire lotus exploded. The spiritual imprint on the spiritual stone had also been blasted apart. Bang! The deathly silence gate suddenly unleashed waves of black fog as the spiritual stone broke. After which, the space itself also began to collapse at this moment. An indescribable destructive force crazily swept towards Yuan duo with the exterminating strength of the Fire Lotus explosion. He had let the deathly silence gate self-destruct. An extreme shock and heartache rose onto Yuan's eyes after he saw this scene. He had been building this deathly silence gate for hundreds of years. Yet, Xiao Yang had simply commanded to self-destruct. BNAG. However, that terrifying force had already come striking at him while this thought flashed across his mind. It directly devoured the both of them. Xiao Yang watched the deathly silence gate that had exploded wildly from the sky. His body swiftly pulled back and wiped off the cold sweat on his forehead. This time around, these two old undying demons would be seriously injured even if they did not die. How can it be so easy to snatch it back? A low and cold laughter sounded. Xiao Yan's heart shook as he turned towards the sea of magma below. An incomparably large swirl had appeared at that spot. It was as though something was about to appear. Ancient God Mansion, is it finally about to surface? Xiao Yang's eyes became increasingly icy cold as he watched this scene. Giant waves were suddenly formed on the spacious magma sea. A 10,000 feet large whirlpool was slowly formed on the surface of the sea of magma. There seemed to be something appearing from the end of the whirlpool. A kind of mysterious fluctuation rippled throughout the place. The unexpected occurrence that had happened on the magma attracted the attention of many. Immediately, a shocked expression surged on their faces. Xiao Yang's eyes were grave as they looked at the churning magma whirlpool below. A rich caution rose deep within his eyes. He did not forget that there was a mysterious creature guarding the ancient God Mansion. If that thing came charging out, there was no predicting what kind of drastic change would occur in this battle. While Xiao Yang had poured all of his attention into staring at the magma whirlpool, the space a short distance behind him suddenly shook. A miserable old figure appeared. The dense deathly aura, which had originally covered his body, had faded greatly. Clearly, he was seriously injured. He is actually still alive? Xiao Yang turned his head after detecting this person. He looked at the weary old man and a surprise involuntarily flashed across his eyes. However, a cold smile appeared after his eyes swept towards a figure grabbed in Hunchindi's hand. That fellow with an unknown fate was naturally Yuan. Xiao Yang had used over a dozen extermination Fire Lotus and explode the deathly silence gate. With the superimposition of the two, the destructive force created was frightening enough to cause only to tremble from feeling a chill. Even though Yuan duo were 8-star elite Dosheng, they still ended up with one dead and one seriously injured. Hunchindi, who had appeared, spat out a mouthful of fresh blood before looking at Xiao Yang a short distance away with a terrified face. Although there was still a vicious expression flashing in his eyes, he also understood that he was likely unable to fight with Xiao Yang in his current condition. He immediately clenched his teeth and dragged his seriously injured body and quickly withdrew. Xiao Yang glanced at Hunchindi, who had escaped, but did not give chase. Although he had schemed and managed to seriously injure one party while killing the other, the exhaustion he had experienced could also not be underestimated. Moreover, the Tushi ancient God Mansion was about to appear. Most of his attention was diverted to it. Even though Hunchindi was able to escape, he was unable to participate in the battle. The huge magma whirlpool rotated with an increasingly great intensity. Earth-shaking splashing sound reverberated across the sky. Bang! A loud sound suddenly appeared in the sky. Soon after, miserable figures pulled back. Two of them were in an extreme dire state. The deathly aura that lingered over them had almost completely disappeared. Their fighting strength had also become much weaker. It was really a joke for them to block Yuan with their strength. As long as the attack from that kind of expert managed to make even the slightest contact with them, they would end up being seriously injured. Nihility, sir, we cannot stop him. The two individuals with deathly aura around them had pale faces as they looked at the Nihility devouring flame beside them, who had a somewhat chaotic black flame, and cried out. The black flame within the Nihility devouring flame's eyes rippled slightly. Some dissatisfaction flashed across his eyes. It was unexpected that he was still unable to fight against Yuan despite his soul having advanced to the D state. Xiao Yuan also appeared a short distance from the trio. His eyes were cold and indifferent as they glanced at them. If it was not because the soul of the Nihility devouring flame had reached the D state, he would have already killed the other two. Otherwise, how could they have been allowed to remain alive until now? However, he also understood that the reason the Nihility devouring flame had fought with all their strength was merely to obstruct him. Hunchindi. Xiao Yuan lifted his head. He looked at the figure controlling the Tushi ancient god Jade. A cold glint flashed across his eyes as he stepped forward. The space fluctuated and he appeared behind Hunchindi. A world tide surged. Finally, it turned into a huge tidal palm that fiercely smashed towards Hunchindi. Bang! Hunchindi laughed loudly in the face of Xiao Yuan's attack. A palm was struck forward and the space was shattered. He directly received Xiao Yuan's palm strike head-on. Xiao Yuan, it's too late. Next, let's wait for the Tushi ancient god mansion to appear. Hunchindi swiftly pulled back. His hand was still tightly grabbing onto the Tushi ancient hod jade. Xiao Yuan's expression sunk as he heard Hunchindi's words. His eyes glanced at the magma sea below and found that the whirlpool on the magma sea had suddenly expanded 10 times. Bang bang bang. After the whirlpool was expended, a 10,000 feet large magma fire pillar suddenly spat out from the magma sea in all directions. Many from both parties were caught in it. The extreme heat and offensive strength immediately resulted in deaths from both parties. Hunchindi revealed an increasing wild joy in his eyes as he looked at the giant waves appearing on the surface of the magma. He could detect that the Tushi ancient god Jade in his hand had suddenly become strangely hot. The 10,000 feet large magma wave rose suddenly before it came smashing down ruthlessly. It caused magma to splash across the sky. That rapidly rotating magma whirlpool also gradually slowed. A huge magma began to protrude from the surface of the magma sea as the rotation speed slowed. Bright red magma scattered. After which, an ancient stone door slowly rose from the magma and stood in the sky in front of the many heated pairs of eyes. The magma on the stone door swiftly disappeared. An ancient and desolate aura immediately filled this world. Everything was silence under this aura. Even those as strong as Xiao Yuan or Hunchindi felt a terror from within their hearts. It was an aura that stood above this world. Countless pairs of eyes gathered onto the ancient stone door. Finally, these eyes focused on the 3 ancient words on the stone door. Ancient God Mansion. Hunchindi's eyes had unleashed a terrifying light at this moment. Even his calmness, his heart involuntarily pounded when he personally saw the words that he had pursued for thousands of years. I have finally found you, Hunchindi muttered to himself. Finally, he involuntarily faced the sky and laughed wildly. His laughter was like thunder as it reverberated across the sky. Is this the legendary ancient god cave? Xiao Yuan was a little absent-minded. He was startled as he looked at the ancient stone door that stood quietly on the magma. The aura on it allowed him to understand that this was not some fake object. Instead, it was a genuine Do-D object. Only something that was left behind by the legendary Do-D could cause him to feel extremely frightened. Xiao Yuan recovered a moment later after seeing the quiet and unmoving ancient stone door. His eyes contained a somewhat complicated feeling. The 8 ancient clans had engaged in multiple chaotic battles for this ancient god mansion. It was unexpected that it could be summoned thousands of years later, when only 4 of the 8 clans remained. The enormous ancient stone door stood on the magma. Everyone appeared exceptionally tiny in front of its giant size. In their eyes, this stone door appeared as though it belonged to another world and was unusually mysterious. Xiao Yang let out a long breath. Although this was already the second time he had seen the ancient stone door, there was still some shock in his heart. He could detect that the closer he was to the stone door, the greater the pressure he felt. Based on his guess, there was likely very few people amongst everyone present who could head to the front of the stone door. The ancient god cave has already appeared. It is likely that Hunchindi will act to snatch the embryonic DI pill. However, why has that mysterious creature not appeared? A light flashed within Xiao Yang's eyes as they cautiously swept over the magma sea. Due to the appearance of the ancient stone door, the entire sea region seemed to have been enveloped by a strange pressure. Under this pressure, even Xiao Yang's D-state soul was unable to probe the activity within the magma. Hunchindi inhaled a couple of deep breaths as he stood in the sky. Only then did he suppressing the churning emotions within his heart. Immediately, he slowly raised the Tushi ancient god jade in his hand. The ancient jade vaguely had a light flowing over it. During the time that a light was flickering over the ancient jade, there also seemed to be a light flickering over the tightly shut ancient stone wall. That ancient door, which had been tightly shut for 10,000 years, seemed to show signs of being about to open. Hunchindi seemed to rejoice upon seeing this scene. Before he could open his stride and advance, a figure came hurrying over and attempted to snatch the ancient jade from his hand. Yuan, are you unable to hold back any longer? Hunchindi laughed coldly upon seeing this. His body flashed and he appeared in the distance, dodging Yuan in the process. How can it be so simple to open the mansion? Yuan laughed coldly. His body flashed again and it closely followed Hunchindi like a shadow. It did not give him any time to open the mansion. You? Murderous intent surged within Hunchindi's eyes as he saw Yuan continue to pester him. His strength was comparable to that of Yuan. If the latter insist on pestering him, he would really be unable to divert his attention. Many pairs of eyes looked at the two light figures that seemed to be moving together in the sky. All of them could only clench their hands and stare. They were unable to intervene in a fight on that level. Splash, splash. Xiao Yang glanced at the battle in the sky. His ear suddenly moved as he heard some intense magma churning sound. Immediately, he turned his eyes towards the sea of magma, only to see that it was calm and seemingly void of ripples. This scene caused Xiao Yang to frown. However, he did not shift his eyes away. His gaze stared intently at the surface of the magma. This silence continued for a couple of minutes before he suddenly shrank his eyes. A stern cry sounded, "Get far away from the magma! Hurry!" 100,000 feet giant wave suddenly rose on the calm magma sea as this sharp cry sounded. Soon after, an earth-shaking roar resounded over this place in a mighty fashion. The expressions of Yuan and Hunchindi changed abruptly after this roar that seemed to have originated from the ancient times was emitted. This aura was actually not weaker than them. Ha 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 ha, this emperor is finally able to see the sky again. The 100,000 feet magma shot to the sky as a ferocious aura, which caused the weather to change, erupted from within the sea of magma. This video will end here.